I live on. That's the difference. If it doesn't make me a better human being to treat all people with kindness, then why am I believing anything?
I think
I'm
that
just
people
trying to
like
figure
Young
out where
believe.
God said to support Gaza
I
and what's
think
happening over.
that I think
We
I think
are
that
the
there. Oh,
world. We
hello. Can you hear
are
me?
the
I think
children.
part of the problem is that people like Young believe that skin color is ethnicity.
Boss, talk to
Uh,
me directly if you think that what I believe. I'm gonna
I
say
mean, well, you
talk
mentioned
stupid
the
unless you
idea
know
of
what I
people being
believe.
black and white and things
Yeah, I
like
already
this.
told you. I already told people about
And
those people.
so,
Hey, I said it. I already made the statement about the
I
Hebrew
say,
Israelites. I said
so
this.
correct me.
No,
Go
no, no. Hear
ahead.
what I'm saying. I don't give a damn. I'm gonna say what
I
I
said correct
believe so
me.
you can know it. Let me say it out loud. So this is what it is. What they're saying, as far as the Israelites and many other people that is not Hebrew Israelites, they know these truths because they studied it. But I'll say this first. The last disclaimer I'm gonna say. I don't believe in racism. I don't believe in the racism stuff. Don't believe in that. That's the only thing with them, and also the way that they're probably gonna go with that type of stuff. I don't believe in that. Everything else, they're on point. They're not lying about it. I've studied it back and forth. Me,
I didn't say
Ethan,
you
the
believed
same
in
thing that Ethan's bringing
racism.
up. I've studied about
I
because
didn't say you
yeah.
believed in racism. I said
I'm
you
just letting
believe
you know
that.
because you
I said that
choose to
you
go that
believe
way.
that
People tend to go that way in
that
America. So
race happens to be ethnicity. So therefore, if the ancient Israelites were a particular skin color, particular race presenting, that means that is their ethnic group, and that presentation should be the managing ethnic group of whatever that group of people represent based off of skin color. But if you
black is a
had like
misnomer just to try to get rid of the names,
I
right? Well, and
it
I get
is
what
a
you're saying. 'Cause we're
common
not saying the opposite
colloquialism.
things when we.
So
I agree.
so so imagine you had a couple had 9 sons, right? The same couple, husband and wife, had nine sons, and three of those sons went into Europe, three of those sons went into Africa, and three of those into Asia, and they had their own. Are those people still the same ethnic group? Do they still come from the same or tribe of people? And even if their skin colors, quote unquote, the skin color of their descendants are more like the people that they're around. Yeah, they have the same because they have the same original root, right? And that is effectively what happened with the Jews over time. You had some that went into Asia. You had some, or Israel Jews, whatever you want to call them. You had some that went into Asia. You had some that went into Europe. You had some that went into Africa. And those groups of people had different groups of children, but they still maintained their identity. And the reason why people don't really understand a lot of this stuff is because they're transposing modern day Western society on your ancient, well, in Europe 200, 300 years ago, and the Middle East 200, 300 years ago, where people were not able to switch their quote unquote religion or ideologies like they can switch their underwear in the West, right? In America, you can wake up a Jew. You can have lunch and become a Muslim, and you can die, or you can go to sleep in the evening and be a Christian. In the older world, you couldn't do that.
Well,
You were forced.
conversion is possible. Converting
Well,
to another
yes,
religion is possible.
Devin, I'm talking about modern day
No,
society.
you're missing the biggest point.
Two,
It's called
two,
free will of conversion. What the hell do you not get that?
one second. 200 years ago in the Middle East, if somebody were to say that they were going to be a Jew, they would get their head cut off if they weren't really a Jew. They were that was both in Europe and Eastern Europe, as well as the Middle East, even Ethiopia. If you were to say that you were a Jew, you tell everybody around you, they will cut your head off. You couldn't just convert and become a Jew. You could likely convert and become a Christian or a Muslim, because that was normative. And Jews were forced in all of those places. They had reduced rights. They didn't even have citizenship. Jews in Europe lived in ghettos. Jews in the Middle East lived in particular palaces and neighborhoods.
Don't impose on another being to
status.
believe in a deity against their will. Do you understand that?
Shut the fuck up, Sam.
No, you go fuck yourself, you little bitch.
Okay, that was uncalled for.
They had a demi status,
Call
which is
for
a
him
second
to
class
tell
status,
me that.
which is a second class status in society. maybe even sometimes a third class status in society. You couldn't just become a Jew if you were not a part of that group. You would be killed. People just sort of pretend.
We understand that.
But people did
Well, Sam's a
create
Coptic
Judaism
Christian, so I think
historically.
he knows about that pretty well.
Okay, so Sam will probably know, but most people in the West, these people who talk about the Khazars and all of these people, they really don't understand what the old world was like.
You need you, Pepe.
Oh,
Well, no, I don't think that there was like these white people pretending to be Jews. First of all,
On Sundays you do. On Sunday, today you don't, but Sundays you do.
That's bullshit. Because first of all, I'm just gonna be very frank with saying this. Throughout European history, being a Jew is like being a fucking leper or a
black person.
a fucking gypsy. They're looked down upon. I mean, why the fuck would anybody do that?
Don't forget about Albert Einstein and Sigmund Freud.
That's the whole point. Is why.
The difference is you can
Hold
blend
on to
in,
it deep.
like Josephus.
Benjamin Disraeli.
If you could pass,
You
you'd
know.
be good. But the moment you give your ideology,
What about Benjamin Disraeli?
But the black Jews got kicked
He was
out
a Jewish
of,
prime minister.
different places like the Spanish Inquisition and stuff.
He wasn't a
The
leper.
visual ones- the visual black people got kicked out, but the ones who were our brothers and sisters, they who blended in, mulatto, whatever, they were able to blend in so they could pass the moment. That's why they have this conflict still today. Like, hey, oh, well, I'm white. Oh, well, I'm actually Jewish. Let's not say that because you can't tell on the exterior. So that's what divided up Israel in a sense too. Also, Josephus, he was able to go with the Romans, even though he fought against them. So that's what we have today. It's the same thing happening.
Wait, what does it mean to be white?
Right.
What does it mean to be
That's a
white?
misnomer too, right? That's a good one.
It means no. It's
It is.
just white.
It definitely is.
White is just a skin color category.
I just said that it's a misnomer. That's the point of why I
So
said that.
that's not necessarily what a
A
misnomer
is not really.
Whiteness is a skin color category. Whiteness is a skin color category.
Okay, well, let the whites speak for the. I mean, most of us consider it. It just means you're of European descent, really.
But I mean, that's what it means today, generally. And quite honestly, a lot of North Africans are considered white, and they do not have European descent. A lot of Turks are considered white. I guess you can consider them.
They do have
For the
European
census
descent.
purpose, yes.
That's what made them mix.
So, but not even for census purposes, for social purposes as well. But it wasn't always that way. It wasn't even that way 100 years ago. It just sort of became normal.
It always was in the U.S. We had like what we would consider. But like the Anglos would consider the newcomers, especially Southern and Eastern Europeans, as being like ethnic trash in comparison to themselves. But the whole reason they were even allowed to immigrate here is because they were considered white. Our Immigration Act only allowed 3 white people to come here.
Most of those people were not able. They were able to become residents, but not citizens.
No, the Irish
were not able to
allowed
become
to come
citizens.
here.
Irish were considered white, what, in the 1800s?
Yeah.
Late
Now,
1800s.
people were racist against them, especially the Anglos, and the Irish, also hated the Anglos. But we ended up putting the nation of origins quota, I believe, is it 1924, so that we wouldn't have as many Southern and Eastern Europeans coming here. But no, they were always considered white. There were a few. The only thing that really, I guess, they did consider somewhat people from the Levant white. So you did have people that came from Syria and Lebanon in small numbers, and they were classified as white.
Yeah, but there were court cases. There were court cases of them petitioning to be considered white.
Yeah,
right?
there was a police officer in California who arrested a white man, and the defendant, this went to the Supreme Court, but his argument was that, well, this man's not white, and at the time you had to be white in order to arrest a white citizen, and the Supreme Court ruled that he was white. So
the fact that there were court cases and questions about it proved that there was some ambiguity.
Well, there's always ambiguity, but so there's no clear line where the racial distinctions, like with Europeans, you can get people from the Caucasus and Western Asia, the Levant, even not so much North Africa today, but more so in the past. There wasn't like a clean line. It's kind of like a gradient where you have people that are in proximity to Europe. They're obviously related to us, but then, obviously the further you go away from Europe, they start looking a lot different from us, and they are a lot different. But if you look outside the boundaries of Europe, there is a drastic change in culture and religion.
Yeah.
I mean, you have some Christians in the Levant, but then that's when they have, the different Middle Eastern languages. Everything's a lot different culturally as well. So it's just a useful way to, I would say, not just racially, but culturally classify a group of people.
It has areas of applicability and inapplicability that vary with time and place.
Okay, Shah.
I agree.
Did I pronounce it correctly? Shai.
Shai, yes.
Okay, Shah. This is my question for you, based on your understanding. Were people considered religious based on their ethnic group, or were they just considered, like, being born in a Jewish family may not be your ethnicity or nationality, or vice versa? Okay, so my question to you is, where are we right now on the timeline of looking at people based on their belief system of the title of the room versus their ethnicity?
I think that each of those societies have different things. So Jews have always had a how do you say,
Genetic.
like a plurality of beliefs within Judaism. You can see it in the Old Testament. You can see it in the New Testament. There's not like a distinct belief. It's not like if you are a Christian, you have a particular, but you have to believe in Jesus in order to be a Christian and accept whatever those tenets are. Or like in Islam, you have to believe in the Prophet Muhammad and as the final prophet and all that comes with this. So Jews have always. So all of them are different. They all have their own requirements to be a part of the society. But you also have the Armenians, right, and the Chaldeans. These groups of people they have their own church and they have their own ethnic group goals within that church. They are Christians. They are whatever, but they have their own traditions and realities, and even somewhat specific beliefs within that Christian form of Christianity that makes them part of that church. And sometimes they accept new members, but for the most part, they don't.
Question for you. When you hear the term Judeo-Christian, right, in the United States, what is your understanding of that basis? Because out of many, one in America, they're not looking at all the different ethnic groups, but our foundation is Judeo-Christian. What do you understand by that?
I think it has to do with philosophy. I think it has to do with the way I believe, or the way I understand John Locke sort of taking biblical principles and making that into the secular foundation of America and Western society and how we run our system, and the fact that the majority of the people in America had some form of Christianity as a belief in early America, and also the population or small population of Jews that were there. So a lot of the Americanisms are things that we understand from America. The way the Constitution is formed, the way that the Congress is, the government is formed, a lot of that actually comes from biblical principles that people really have to, you have to read John Locke to really understand where he's coming from and how they have fathers.
So what's the value? What's the value is there? I'm a Christian and I work at a Catholic university. I'm not familiar.
What, John Locke?
Exactly.
Oh, I'll put a link in the chat for you.
We want to be concerned with trends, I think, and the term Judeo-Christian is becoming more meaningful with time because America is seeing itself as Judeo-Christian. I would say we just voted for a President Trump who is supporting religion in America. What is
Doesn't make
religion
any
in
sense.
America? I'm sorry.
Said
Religion in America
Judeo-Christian
has been
doesn't make sense.
Judeo-Christian all along.
Well, I think that a lot. So there's a lot of us who I kind of think it's oxymoronic. And if I'm gonna, I'll just be very frank about actual Christianity. First of all, a lot of people, I'll hear Jews complain about, oh, they have a replacement theology, or there's a trend of some Christians wanting a replacement theology. But it's my personal opinion that Christianity was always a replacement theology. That's literally its foundation. In fact, the earliest Christians didn't think very highly of Jews and mistreated them. I don't.
The Christians were Jews.
Huh?
I thought
The first Christians were Jews,
The
but
very first Christians.
yeah, but we killed those people off.
Probably
when
the
you
best
see-
part.
That-
But if you look at how-
What you just said. No, Pepe, hold on. All of the first people in the New Testament
We're Jews,
were all
I know.
Jews. But the Jews who became believers in the
Yes.
way. So when you say the difference, that's why I say Judeo-Christian, the foundation of the United States, is because Jews did convert. All of the New Testament are all Jews who converted to.
Yeah, we know that.
I know that, but you don't treat them the same. You don't look at them the same. You call it replacement. No one's replacing anything. It's called fulfillment.
Sure, I think that fulfillment. Okay, that's fulfillment. So this is what. I'll just ask the Jews here. So, okay, now this is obviously pre-Vatican II. This is what the Catholics believe. I believe it's what all the Orthodox still believe. But after the resurrection of Christ, the covenant had been fulfilled with the Jews. The Jews no longer, right around the time of I believe it was the destruction of the Second Temple, there was some time where Jews had to accept Christianity. But according to Christians throughout time, Judaism ceased to exist as a religion. You guys have no covenant with God. The covenant is now with us in the church. That is what they consider, it's my understanding, that is what they consider replacement theology.
Good luck with that.
Yeah.
What was the actual question?
Nobody knows about the covenants.
Exactly. The covenant is still intact. And what covenant are we talking about?
That has not been the Christian view for most of the time Christianity
But what
has
is
been
the
around.
actual question? What's the actual question?
Yeah, okay. The actual question is current Christianity replacing Judaism? No. It never has.
Current Christianity, which Christianity? Because I would say some do look at it as the basic. First of all, okay, I'll just ask it. One of the Jews can answer. What do you guys consider a replacement theology?
I guess the fact that people believe that Jews don't exist anymore, and that the people who are Christians are the real Jews. Sorry,
I have a
the
fair
old
one. I
Jews,
think I have a fair
original
one.
Jews don't exist anymore, and the new Jews are the church, are the people who believe in Jesus, and and that we Jews are are non-existent in the
Could
world.
middle child speak? What about if there was something all three of us? What about?
I do not believe that at all. What I
Can I
believe
just?
is, let me just answer the
All
question.
right, Edward, go ahead.
Sam, as a believer, I believe that Jews still exist. I still believe that Christianity, quote unquote Christianity, because no one in the New Testament ever called himself Christian. Okay, it was called the way.
No,
We have
they were
used
called the
we have
Christians. Yes, they were.
okay. All right, Young. I hear you. Okay, Young.
It's in the Bible. That's all I'm saying.
Young, I got it. Okay. I'm going to say to you, Young, please go back and look at it. They were not. I said again, very clear. They did not call themselves Christian. People say you are Christian or you are those Christians. They did not call themselves Christians.
Peter said,
Paul
if they
did
call
not
you that, be proud of it.
Okay, you got it. Because you know why? Because they were following Christ. Okay? Whether, and I'm going to say it again, they didn't call themselves. I don't call myself a Christian, but I believe in Christ 1,000%. I'm a kingdom believer. They consider themselves the way. If you go through all of Scripture, all of doctrine, okay, Christianity is a term used by the world to refer to all those who believe in Christ, but it wasn't a biblical term. I got it. You can put all 3 scriptures in there that use the term Christian and look at all of them, okay? So,
Okay, Mayor,
so I believe that Jews still exist.
I will use
Okay,
a
that's fine,
passage.
but
I'll
didn't
use a
Jesus,
passage from Bible.
wasn't the whole message of Jesus basically that you should follow, that you should follow, as the Son of God, I mean, if anything, they basically condemned the Pharisees as a bunch of sinners.
Fine,
who
fine. We can all
rejected
argue and
God.
keep
I mean,
arguing. What if we
how
just
is that
said?
not a
What
replacement
if we
theology?
just said?
But how is that? Hold on. But how is that not a? That's like the whole messaging is that
No.
are not.
Didn't Jesus?
No, he did not say. I did not. He did not say. I did not come to change the law. I only came to fulfill the law of Moshe. Now, let's go into this. Let's say if you had the faith of a little tiny.
Fulfill the law? What does it mean to fulfill the law?
It means that the Pharisees were going a little off.
No, what does it mean to actually fulfill a law? How do you fulfill a law?
Well, it depends. I'm not going to get into. I'm not a Judaism expert.
No, I'm asking you. You said that you.
I only spoke from a Jesus perspective. I only spoke from the Jesus perspective.
But you are a Christian expert, right?
Yes. Well, we're talking about 10 commandments, but if you want to go into the mitzvot, no, but the mitzvot are also part of the law. So you want to, but that's from the Judaism perspective, not the Christian perspective. So it's a complicated answer.
That's not really.
I should not be in that position to answer it.
You shouldn't be in a position to answer a complicated
question. From a
question.
Judaism perspective.
Yeah, I could answer
What does it mean to fulfill a?
But I guess the other thing too is I don't get why Jews are offended by what they would consider a replacement theology.
We are.
The Muslims think that Jesus was only a prophet. He was not the Son of God, and they really don't like what we believe, and I don't find it offensive. They just have a different belief.
I think we're just offended when you try to kill us because of it. Not you personally, but like just.
Well, I've noticed because you have evangelicals, which are rather modern throughout the timeline of Christianity, and they have a very warped view that Christians never traditionally held, that this modern land of Israel is promised to the Jews, where that it was never. Christianity never saw it that way. And
yes, it did.
No, it didn't.
Okay.
Israel is the church. I mean, the Catholics have been rather consistent on that. The first Christians.
That's version of Christianity.
Yeah, remember.
That's not. It's literally the original Christianity, but that's cool. But
remember.
But in the Orthodox, same view, and I would say they're more they're more old school and traditional. Hold on.
Remember,
they're more old school and traditional than the Catholics. So and most Protestants are not dispensationalists that believe in what the evangelicals do, and so I feel like a lot of it is they're weaponized. Like you hear Jews complaining about the quote unquote replacement theologies in Christianity because they want us all to be these.
Okay, what if we do
evangelicals?
What if we do the ultimate replacement theology, the ultimate of ultimate replacement theologies, and we say we all agree on something, that we all believe in AI? As a Muslim, you believe in the AI. As a Jew, you believe in the AI. As a Christian, you believe in the AI.
Jesus Christ.
Then why don't we go into ultimate replacement AI theology all together as one?
Who is interrupting me just for that? Really?
So I think that you remember, Pepe, for 1,000 years after the death of Jesus, the Romans controlled the land that we call that is Israel, right? And then for another 1,000 years, almost after that, the Romans or the Christians were beaten by the Muslims, and they controlled the land.
That just proves my point. It's never going to stop. So who wants to be there?
Yeah, that's a good point.
But what was your point, though, Shai?
Oh, you were talking about the Christian church never. I mean, they saw themselves as replacing it, but they controlled the land. You said that these modern evangelicals, they believe that the land is promised to the Jews.
So we're having
that the- I
perpetual
guess that-
arguments. Is that what it is?
All right.
Yes,
Sam,
we have it's perpetual sibling
Perpetual
arguments.
arguments. Okay. Who wants to hang around a place where people are always arguing and
But
fighting
it
each other?
doesn't really matter. Evangelicals can support Israel for whatever reason they believe, but Israel is here not because of the evangelicals. The evangelicals.
No, I
sort of
think it's
ineffable.
ironic because that what I'm saying is that you have these fervent supporters of Israel that are I guess Zionist Christians, and they for very different reasons than the Jews. Obviously, they know that when Jesus comes back, you guys are all mostly going to hell. But
Okay.
whereas we kind of like we don't have any claim to, we don't believe that the land has to be saved by Jews. We don't have we're not told to be anti-Zionist. We're definitely not supposed to treat Jews bad. But I feel like there's this attack because they think that we're not the real Christians, because unlike, they want us to all be like these evangelicals that, will support them no matter what.
I just asked one question.
And no, we don't. That's not what we want. Pepe, you have to get. I don't understand why you believe this. You perpetually say it, and it's actually quite. It's really ignorant of the point. Some people go like BB or whatever. They go evangelicals because they know they get help. But it's really.
So he goes to A, and this guy will go to B, and then one day C will go to A.
So
and
I
then
would
B
say
will go to
this.
D.
I do get so it's mostly going to be on places like Twitter, but I do see the fucking kvetching by whiny Jews about how Catholicism is the worst. The Orthodox are the worst. Because it's clear in the Bible. Israel belongs to us. And it's like, don't tell us what our fucking religion, how they interpret our fucking religion. We don't do that. We don't tell Jews what the fuck it is they're supposed to believe
Of course
in the
you do.
Torah. So
Of course.
don't do it to us.
First of all, Christians have done this for like 2,000 years. Literally. I mean, and quite honestly, the entire Christian. This is part of the replacement theory. The entire Christian religion is based off of Judaism and quite a lot of misinterpretations of Judaism, biblical Judaism, rabbinic Judaism.
But you can blame Jesus for that one.
I mean, I really blame Paul. But
Can I just ask one question?
Hold on. Drew, you still want to ask your question, Drew? Go ahead.
I just have, all this discussion going on here, all that I really want to know about, all this little semantics and nitpicking aside, is who gave the green light for 1948? That's all I want to know. And I'm not asking that to be
The British.
whatever.
Was
Yeah,
it
I'm not
the-
trying. I'm
No, they
genuinely
didn't.
curious.
No, they
Rothschild-
didn't.
Rothschild-
No, they didn't.
Rothschild-
The Brit,
It was the Brits.
people are retarded.
It happened.
The British abstained from the vote from the UN. This is the retarded part, right? All of this war, blah blah blah. There was a war with the United Nations. America voted
All
for
right,
it.
here, how about I'll make it easy
Russia-
for you. Who cares?
No.
Who cares?
I'm
It happened.
asking.
It happened. So what?
I'm
What do you mean?
asking from a
1948?
religious
What the fuck do you mean
perspective.
1948?
Why are we even gonna go there?
And what's
So
the religious
what?
perspective? What's the religious perspective?
Okay, so what, Drew? You're asking from a religious perspective?
Who gave light? Where is
Okay,
it written?
Donkey Kong on Mars. Now
Why
what?
I
Why
mean,
did-
it
why-
would depend on which.
I'm asking you a serious question, and like,
So,
you're,
yes,
like,
but so evangelical Christians will say that the land was promised to them, and it's part of their end times.
But they
rapture.
had no connection to it. They had no connection to the
Oh,
vote
hold
with the
on,
United
hold on.
Nations.
Hold on.
That he's talking
So-
about 1948.
Yeah. Okay. So, but how can you make it a religious?
It was
how-
inevitable. It was going to happen.
So
Whatever.
when you
It
say,
was
hold
going
on,
to
shut the
happen.
fuck up.
Who is he talking to?
So when it comes to, okay, so you're asking who gave it the green light specifically in 1948?
Your mama.
Religiously, I don't quite understand.
He wants to know
where is it written? Where is it written? Forget I said 1948, but where is it written that these people would have the green light, the go ahead, the
Balfour
right.
It's written on a male gay bathroom
United
stall in Jersey.
Nations. United
What
Nations.
the hell?
I'm asking a serious question.
United
Balfour
Nations.
Declaration.
So they in their Bible, okay, it says that they believe that Jews need to go back to Israel. Then there will be wars all over the world, and the whole world will be at war with them. And then at the end times, Jesus will come back, and that's
Hey
basically
man,
the story.
hey man,
All right,
I
I'll run with that.
were
At
I'll
the
go
end of
with
the
that.
day, the tribe of Judea, they pulled it off, man. Members from the tribe pulled it off.
There are already wars all over the world, right? There was already World War One. There was already World War Two. Then there was World War Two at the time, and you have to also remember that even before then, the various empires, the Ottoman Empire, the Chinese.